What's up? What's up, everybody? What is up? AK Crowder, what's up? Skills, New Orleans, the place where I got food poisoning. Vasilios Pizza, what's up? The legend, thank you, thank you. The former champ and new soon to be champ. D Town Funk, yo yo yo, what up? What up? What up? What up? We're back. We're back. We're gonna have the championships at the end of this. Um, that's what we're gonna do. What's going on with everybody? Um, talk a little Beterbiev versus Bivol, which is when Beterbiev versus Bivol date June 1st. Okay, so June 1st is Beterbiev versus Bivol, and how do we how do we see that going? That's the question. How do we see Beterbiev versus Bivol going? I don't. I want to know what you guys think. What do you guys think? How do you guys see that one playing out? Skills, appreciate you. Thank you very much. Dropping that 5 spot on me. Appreciate you. Salute at the highest level. My man. People from New Orleans are good people. Good people for show. Skills, how do you see the Bivol and Beterbiev going? How do you think that's going to go? How do you see it? Monetization on. All right. What's up, the Mexican G? The G. What's up? We're talking a little Bivol Beterbiev, but we could freestyle it too. We could freestyle it. What's up? Stop. Beterbiev stoppage round 8. That's specific, huh? Round 8. I've never predicted rounds. Like I know Ali did it. That was his thing. But like I feel like I don't have a crystal ball on my ass, so like I can't. You know what I mean? Watching from work. Where you work, Mexican G? What are you doing? What are you doing? You're a cop. You're protecting and serving over there in California. What are you doing? Um, good. I'm glad. I hope it gets you through work. Hope it hope it is a tool to get you through work. And if you don't like work, then I'm a janitor. Okay, well. So wait, if you're a janitor, how you unless you're joking, but if you're not joking, how are you janitoring right now with it holding like a phone and like mopping with the other hand? I don't know how you would do that. Arthur Beterbiev wins via debilitating KO. Bivol, better boxer, but he won't hurt Arthur. Arthur Beterbiev stop a guy and made Adonis brain bleed. Oh, Beterbiev beat the guy who hurt Adonis. Hmm. Yeah, Arthur just missed fighting Adonis. That would have been a good fight. I'm not that impressed with Bivol. I feel like Canelo tried the same game plan as Caleb Smith fight, and Bivol was ready. I'm not that impressed with Bivol either, but because he beat Canelo, everybody's like in love with him. Recency bias, we call that in the sport. Recency bias is big in boxing, real big. Sometimes I be getting it right. I predicted Tank versus Ryan stoppage round 7. Did you bet money? You probably bet money, don't you? You're a gambler. I think only gamblers go for that round stuff because I've never gambled, but I'm pretty sure that when you predict rounds, you probably win way more money, right? If you could get it that specific. Some people predict like you could bet on anything, right? You could bet left hook, you could bet down to the punch, down to the second, you could bet whatever you want. And I assume you make more money the more precise you get it, right? Beterbiev and Indy were my favorite fighters. Those are good favorite fighters to have. What up, Seth? Can Arthur Beterbiev knock out Bivol in the fight? Do you see that happening? Yeah, I do. He's done that to 100%. Every time he's laced on gloves and laced up his shoes, he's knocked somebody out as a pro. So yeah, why not? Boxing match, Bivol clearly wins. In a fight, Beterbiev destroys him. Well, you're right, but by definition, they're both boxing. They're always fights and they're always boxing matches. You're trying to say if they stay on the outside, but it's never like that. Bivol, Beterbiev's skill is getting to his opponent. That's his skill. Bivol's might be boxing. Arthur Beterbiev is just as effective and good, if not more, at getting to his opponent. As good as you think Bivol might be of staying away and boxing, Beterbiev is that good at getting to him. So I think they're both loaded. They're both got loaded in the chamber equally with the skills to do their respective game plans. Nah, I don't gamble. I could make bank if I did. You should. Nah, you know what? You shouldn't. I wouldn't tell my kids to gamble, so I shouldn't tell anybody to. Benavidez beats Bivol, but gets stopped by Beterbiev in a fight of the year contender. Ooh, I'm not so sure. You guys probably know by now that I'm a big Benavidez fan, but I don't know how his power would translate to 75. I don't know how he could take the power of somebody at 75. So I don't know, but I mean, he still towers. Benavidez towers over Bivol. Marco, you getting ads and on streams now? I just got 2. I think I'm monetized. Tell me if there's something I don't know, but I'm monetized, and I don't. So you should get ads on anything on my channel, right? Or streams different. Am I missing something? Since I'm monetized, I get ads on everything. And I'm sorry if the ads bother you, but gotta pay the bills. Outside, inside, an elite boxer has both, but if you can't hurt the bear, it will maul you down. Right. And we both know Bivol probably can't hurt Beterbiev, right? He couldn't hurt Canelo. He probably can't hurt Beterbiev, right? Right? That's what I'm saying. So that's June 1st. So that's going to be here before we know it. A month and a half. It's dope. Alexi, what's up? I see it either way. You know what I'm going to do, Alexi? I'm going to wrench you up. Anybody who gives a super chat gets wrenched up instantly, by the way. That's my new rule. Because you guys deserve it. I see it either way just because they're both, to me, kind of equal in different ways. Yup, that's what I was saying. One's a great boxer, the other one's a great stalker. But if you add it up and look, they're equal, so it could go either way. I agree. It could go either way. I'm still betting towards Beterbiev, but you're right. It could go either way. Anything scarier in combat sports than a Russian Muslim? Those guys are disciplined and dangerous. What other Russian Muslims we got? Well, we got that heavyweight who ended up losing, right? That guy who I thought he's like 6'5", and he ended up getting stopped by body shots. You have the guy who Buddy McGirt trains. The hell's his name? The middleweight. Forgot his name. Let's pray Bruce don't get here so I can become champ. You should be able. Nah, man. Pray Bruce gets here so you can whoop his ass. That's what you got to do. As a fighter, we want the best to be there. We want to beat the best. That's why it shocked me that fighters would take steroids. It's like, no, you want to win and you want to know that you, like all you, no extra help, beat the best. That's a fighter's mentality. That should be any athlete's mentality. Boxing is a little harder to keep that mentality because when somebody's threatening physical harm and high probability of death on you, that's different than going to play basketball. That's why when I see these basketball, like I played ball growing up, and I was pretty good at it. I could shoot real well, but I was fast, good defense. But my point is, when I would see these guys playing ball and they fall down from a little bump and they're rolling around, they're like, oh, and I'm like, coming from a boxing background, I'm like, what pusses, like big giants, dripping pusses. Like, get up, and they're getting paid so much more than most fighters. Khabib, Nurmagomedov, UFC, Muslim. Yep. I'm thinking of a different one though. Who's the dude that Buddy McGirt trains? Him, and then the dude now, the young Triple G, the guy who just fought. I think he's Muslim too, right? Benavidez don't got that one punch KO power. He kills people with his volume. Yeah, which is weird because he hits really hard. I think he's the kind of person that usually, this is what it is. The punches that knock you out are usually the ones you don't see. When he loads up, he's always in front of you, right? So most fighters are prepared and they tighten up, they clinch up, they could take it. When he throws those sick combos, those fast combos, those are fast, but they don't have much power behind them. That's my guess at why Benavidez doesn't knock people out with one punch. Because I've seen him spar, I've seen him throw punches. Each punch looks hard. Maybe he plants the hard shots, so the element of surprise isn't there. I don't know. Boxers should become the highest paid athletes in the world. Yeah, they should. They should. Glad to be logged in. How you doing? How was your day? Not bad. Stresses in life are around, but overall, not bad. There is power, and there is power. There's power, and there is power. Bud, Boots, then there is Tank and Arthur Beterbiev. Yeah. Bud has hard punches, but his is he lands them when you don't expect it. Boots reminds me actually of Benavidez. He doesn't have a lot of one punch knockouts. He throws hard, but it's all like Boots and Benavidez. You guys, what do you think? I think Boots and Benavidez have the same kind of power. Then Tank and Arthur are different. I agree. Very different. Boxing, the hardest sport in the world. You have no one to fall back on if you have a bad day, unlike other sports. Well, that's true, but you got tennis, golf. What's up, Vaughn? There's a few other one-on-ones, but you're right. Overall, you're right. Booch is dangerous. Booch is dangerous. His nice. You trying to say he's nice? I don't know what you're trying to say there. Yeah, Boots is dangerous. Yeah, Boots is mad dangerous. I would like to see him more in fights. Boots? You like to see Boots more in fights? Is that what you mean? I like to see him more in fights too. Today's Friday. We probably won't get as many people in here. Yeah, me too. Me too. But he doesn't have any fights set, does he? He's very talented. He reminds me a lot of Benavidez, actually, in a lot of ways. Not his style, but his output of punches, how he throws every punch hard, how his will, um, his tenacity, his aggression, all that stuff reminds me of Benavidez. Yeah, they do need to give him an opportunity on the big stage. No, not yet. No, yeah, there's no fights planned. So, what do we do? We just wait. He's a dog like Benavidez. Yeah, yeah. That's a new saying. People saying, "Oh, he got that dog in him." That's a new saying. That didn't 10 years ago, even 5 years ago. I don't think they were saying that. New-ish saying. To me, Boots is a combination of Bud and Prime Spence. Yes, he is. A lot of more of Bud than Spence, but Spence in terms of just chopping, chopping, chopping. Yeah, and Bud in terms of the switch hitting and yeah. Thoughts on Benavidez moving up 75. I think he'll ever fight Canelo. Well, what else is he gonna do? If he stays at 68, he's never gonna win a belt because Canelo's holding him all ransom. So he has to move up. And he's a big dude, man. He's only 26. He's probably barely making 68. Have you seen his last few fights? He's like mad drained, mad gaunt. Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul is go like Roy versus Pettis. Is go? What do you mean? Oh, will go? I just heard the details. They said it's going to be, I think, 6 or 8 2-minute rounds. They're going to wear, was it 14-ounce gloves, no headgear, Referee is supposed to let it go a competitive exhibition, but not if it goes past that, stop it. So the referee can actually stop it if one guy is going too hard than the other guy. You better off getting KO'd early than broken down. Flash KOs Lennox versus Rockman, and there's Errol versus Mikey and Ugas. Lewis came back. Ugas, Mikey, never the same. Yeah, it's true. That's true. I believe he's been Canelo's mentor for 3 years now. I think it's 4. But either way, anything over 1 year or anything over 2 years is crazy. 1 year, you have a couple people fight twice a year generally. Okay. 2 years, though, is too much. But 4 or 5 or 3 or 4 is, especially, there's no other options like him. That's the problem. Like people say, well, it took, or it's what they say. They say, Sugar Ray Leonard avoided Pryor. Okay, but he had Hagler, he had Hearns, he had Duran, he had all these unbelievable selections to choose from, legend selections. Canelo at 68 has nobody legendary or threatening or competitive to choose from besides Benavidez. That's what makes it so much worse. You know what I'm saying? How does the IBF strip Bud but not Canelo? Well, we talked about this because of the sanctioning fees. They get 3% off a fighter's purse. So they get 3% off the winner's purse. Canelo is making $20 to $50 million a fight, right? So let's just say let's say 40 million, right? All right. 3% of 40 million is 1.2 million. Benavidez is probably making 500,000, right? So that's 15 grand. So they want to take 1.5 million instead of 15 grand, which is just common math. You don't need to have be an accountant to get this. So that's why they don't strip them, because they want the 3%. They want to get $1.5 million in their pocket twice a year, as opposed to $15,000 in their pocket twice a year. That's why. It's wild, right? Morrell stops Canelo. I'm not feeling this Morrell guy. Okay, let me rephrase that. Not that I'm not feeling him, but people are talking like you. Stop. They're saying he'll beat Benavidez, he'll beat Canelo, he's the next guy. And it might be so, but I think it's insane to think that he's shown anything to this point that would indicate that. Like, we need to see more. He looks good, but he's fought, was he 12 fights? 11 fights? Way too early. Way too early. David's too big for 168. Yeah. Yeah, of course he is. 6'3", and he's 25. This is the age now. You could see it in his face. He can no longer hold on. And if he gets stronger like Devin Haney did when he moves up, it's a wrap. What if he gets stronger? Most guys don't take their power up. That's just a fact proven over time. Most, not all. Some guys do bring power up with them and get stronger, as a matter of fact, when they stop draining themselves. No, I don't see Morrell beating either Benavidez or Canelo. I saw his last fight. Yeah, exactly. It was okay. You weren't like, yo, here's a problem in boxing. And this is just how human nature is. We all want to be a part of a legendary run, or a generational run. Not generational, forget that. Legendary. We all want to be part of that 1 in a million fighters run and say, I watched that live. All of us. That's what we want to be, the ones to be a part of it, and especially to call it. We want to have that, I called that, I saw that, and I ended up watching live. Like me watching Roy Jones live, watching Tyson live, I could say that. Seeing him come up, being like, this is somebody special. So a lot of times I think a lot of us fans see a fighter and want to call it and want to be a part of that. And that's okay to be a part of it, but you can't, you have to think you're going to be a part of it for more than just you're hoping to be a part of it. You have to really unbiasedly analyze everything in a fighter and everything of who they fought, how they look fighting them, who they haven't fought, all that, and their skills and their defense and their lack of, and then say, this guy's going to be the next guy. Get what I'm saying? People are too quick to just want to be a part of a legend and start calling out future legends way too early. Morel ain't stopping nobody. Yeah. Let it marinate. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's possible. Like Morel, it's possible. I don't see that just yet. And there's I don't see Boots possible. Boots, I see it. I'm not going to say yet because he needs to be tested more. But Boots, yes. Benavidez, yes. Who else is up and coming? Those are the two that are like right on the border of being big, but not yet. Interesting matchup between Beterbiev and Bivol. One guy's always looking at the knockout. I don't think he looks for the knockout though. It comes, but all the interviews I've heard, and I'm cool with one of his co-trainers, John Scully, they don't look for it. It just comes. The other guy looking to outbox his opponent, I think it's 50-50. Fights don't need to marinate. No, not fights. I think what Alexei meant is let your opinion, don't jump to your conclusion. Let your opinion and conclusion marinate as you watch more of the fighter before you let your opinion on if he's going to be an all-time great marinate. That's what he meant. I'm pretty sure he can speak for himself. What up, Trill? Boots needs like one more fight against former champion before he's ready for Bud. I think so. I think you're right. If he can get Spence, yeah. But no, I think Spence is nothing like Bud. Get something more like Bud. There's really nobody like Bud, but boxing, most mental, independent sport ever. Me versus you. No, us versus them. It's all about you. Absolutely. Been there. That's what I like the most. I'm a control freak. I don't know about you guys. So I like controlling it all myself. I'm a control freak. I would get mad frustrated if I'm playing with somebody like on a basketball team and I'm doing work and these guys are fumbling the ball, missing shots, whatever, throwing the ball away. That would drive me crazy. Who do you consider more entertaining, Shakur, Haney? Who can you develop more of a friendly style? Haney. Close. They both could be pretty lackluster at times, but I go with Haney. Based on his last performance, especially. Haney tries to mix it up. Shakur doesn't as much. That's the difference. Not talking about fights. I'm talking about fighters, then self and your opinions first. Don't know what that meant exactly. Boots ready now. You think? David looks built like a heavyweight. Yeah, he's a big dude. Roy Jones, Jr. versus Darius in their prime. Come on. Come on. You have the audacity. You have the nuts, the cojones. You got the brass tacks to ask me if I think Roy would lose to anybody? You drunk? Stop. Are you drunk? Because you can't win the trivia championship sipping on grandma syrup. You got to be clear-eyed. Of course, Roy. Nobody beats Roy in his prime. And Darius was around in his prime. Nobody. Ever in history. Benavidez says he wants to conquer other weight classes. Should he keep moving up? Yeah. As long as he feels good at light. Yeah, why not? Especially if the matchup is right. You know what I mean? Definitely. Makes history. He has the frame to do it. Boots ain't ready. Trust me. Bud would stop him. Possibly. Possibly. Roy Jones, the GOAT. For me, he is. For me, he is. I mean, who did what he did in his prime? Who could have beat him in his prime? Roy Jones, people talk about his offense, right? His defense was very good too. Nah, I'm sober. Darius might get him. You're wiling out now. You are wiling out. Darius might get who? Get him how? Get him like a soda after he loses? Bring him a drink? Say, thank you, champ. I enjoyed that ass whooping. What's he going to get? You're wiling out. Stop wiling out. That's what I'm talking about, letting fighters themselves and their opinions marinate before making calls. Yep. Yep. Exactly. I'm kidding. Oh, okay. Thank God. Thank God, 'cause I like you. I still like you. You're right. You have the right to your opinion, but good. You're smart. You guys know boxing too well to think David should be a heavyweight. He should be with Fury and them. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Fury's 6'9", David 6'3". Do do you like a Jake Paul? Psst. Hold on a second. Get down. Get out of here. Cat's crawling on food. Do you like Jake Paul fight and Mike Tyson? If Jake Paul, cat try to get the food. Do you like Jake Paul fight and Mike Tyson?
Oh, okay.
Sorry. Do I like a Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight? If Jake Paul wins, the fight could be shocking. Yeah, it'll be shocking. But it'll be sad too. Is there any truth to the story that Keyshawn Davis beat up Teofimo Sr.? What I heard was somebody else hit Teofimo for popping off of the mouth. But the weird thing about that was when it was brought up to Keyshawn himself verbally said, "Yeah, I did it. That was a long time ago." So I don't know. But what I heard was no, it wasn't true. There's a couple light heavyweight fights that got away from us. Yeah, that's true. A prime Roy Jones was an absolute phenom. I see why he's your favorite boxer all time, but Target did give him Tarver. You're trying to say that work, champ? Yeah, when he was 36, 35, he was done. Roy was done. And the reason I say that is not just because he's my favorite fighter, but you saw the difference in how Roy fought. When a fighter fights completely different than he's ever fought before, and for him it was gaining the weight, losing the weight, that means something. If he was fighting the same and Tarver was just better, but yeah, he did get him. But that's why I say in his prime, Roy Jones's last fight of his prime was probably Ruiz when he won the title. And then when he lost that weight, done. It drained him. An O is spectacular based opposition faced, but by your ability to constantly face subpar opposition, thrive. And thrive, being the best is derived from beating the best and not avoiding them. Yep. Dan George, what's up? Any updates on the Ike Ibeabuchi situation? Nope. No updates. Last I heard, he's still trying to get out. But I'm gonna hit him up. I'm gonna check with him. David has too small of a frame to put enough weight to compete at heavy and cruiser. Maybe. We don't know. I think you're right though. Cruiser maybe, but heavyweight you're probably right. Tarver, I know you meant Tarver. Boots ready for Buddy. Yup. Maybe. Not gonna lie, training during Ramadan is a vibe. Oh, you're Muslim? Obviously your name. So what's Ramadan is you don't eat all day. You could eat at night, right? From sundown, sun up, sundown, or what is it? I forget exactly the rules of Ramadan. Spell check on my phone messed up. All good. Boots ready for Bud. He's 31-0. How much? It's not about how many fights, it's about who he fought. But I think he is ready. It wouldn't hurt if he had one more fight against like a former champion, but there's not that many out there. Like he should have fought Thurman. But Thurman's not fighting Boots. Although Boots has a title. Maybe he should have. Roy's 49-1 versus Floyd 50-0 is no competition. Well, Roy shouldn't have lost that one. That was a disqualification that he was about to knock Montel out. Montel's my man, but so I disagree. And he wasn't 49-1. Roy was never 49-1. Oh, was he? He might have been. You're right. But still, he shouldn't have lost that fight. And you want to get into this? About to set me off right now. Talking that sacrilege. Floyd really lost to Castillo. Jose Luis Castillo really beat him. So in actuality, Floyd should be 49-1 and Roy should have been 50-0. So booyaka. Don't come at me with that wildness. What's up, Jonathan? What's up, Mr. Big Play? Bray? Who are the top trainers and what makes a good trainer? I can't. That's hard to answer. A good trainer, sometimes a fighter just it's mostly the fighter doing what they do. And sometimes they need that good chemistry, that push in the right direction from the right person. And sometimes trainers, I can't really answer that, and it would take me too long. Yes, you can't eat from sunrise to sunset. Okay, yeah, that's and you can't even drink water, right? I think you can't drink water. He avenged it in the rematch. First round knockout. Montel's my man. I know him personally. Cool dude, but it was what it was. I don't know what his record is. He's lost 7, 8 fights by now. Roy Jones Jr. is my favorite fighter too. That's crazy. That's because you're a smart man. You think Cromwell Bullet a good trainer? I don't know. Like I told you, for me, when you see a fighter fight, you don't know how much of what they're doing is them and how much of it's their trainer. In most situations, it's like 80, 90% of them. And the trainer puts in that 10%. In most situations. But some it's 50-50. Some it's 80-20 the other way. It's the train. You never know. But in general, it's not the trainer, it's mostly the fighter. So I don't know. Yeah, no water. That's wild. 66-10. Yeah, it's not a good record. But in his prime, never lost. I mean, lost technically, but officially lost, but technically never lost in his prime. Never even came close to losing. You know what I'm saying? Like on Montel, he was Montel. They were coming. It was about even on the scorecards, but he had dropped Montel. He was about to stop him. You know, he just hit him a couple times when Montel already went down. What's your opinion on Virgil Hunter? A good trainer or a great student? I don't know. Like I told you guys, the training thing with me is like unless I'm there with them, I can't answer any trainer questions because unless I'm there listening to what the trainer says or watching them in camp, which I don't do with any fighter almost at all. A couple here or there that I've known over the years that I still know, but I don't listen to the corner. The cameras almost never go in the corner a lot. You'll hear a couple sentences, but you don't get a lot of what the trainers are saying. And I'm not really in the gyms listening to the trainers. You know, if I know any big name fighters, champions, I go in, say what's up, whatever, bounce. I don't really, you know. So yeah, so I can't really answer that. It ain't bad, but it you know, Roy told me if you look up one of our interviews, he said if he could change anything, he said he would have quit after the first Tarver fight because how people it ruined his legacy. What do you think of the drug test with Roy? I mean, he told me in an interview. He said he goes something I grabbed off the shelf at GNC, literally off the shelf. I didn't know that it was banned. He's like, and I believe him because he never failed the drug test since then. Never came close, and he was just such a naturally gifted. You saw him as an amateur that fast and hit that hard. It was in him, so I believe it. I do. Um, he just was uneducated, I guess, in what's banned, and he didn't. You know, most of the stuff that's banned, you got to go get it from a doctor, under the table, black market, that kind of thing, not just pick it up off the shelf from GNC. You think Roy, who fought Ruiz, could beat 2004 Tyson? I don't know. Yes, 2004 Tyson. Yes, yes, that Tyson. But a 1988 Tyson, I don't know about that. Probably not, because Roy couldn't hurt him, and Tyson's fast enough to get to him. It would take some time, but he get to him. Yes, please hit the like button. I don't even want to look at how many likes we have. It's gonna make me want to puke. How many do we have? Yeah, I always forget to say that. Thank you guys for reminding me. Let's see how many likes we got. I'm gonna pop it open now. 20. Okay. I don't know if you hear that. 20 ain't bad. Okay. Um, you 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 tuning in for Hasim Rahman? Yeah, man, I love Hasim. I don't know if you were here when I said that, but Hasim's like a good friend of mine. Hasim Jr., but Hasim Senior, we came up together in the amateurs. So he's a good friend of mine. So yeah, man. Junior, I knew since he was a baby, because I know Hasim. I know his mom's. You ready when you're ready, not based on a number or fights fought. Morale ready now. More fights mean more diversity. Talent is. You're right. That's possible. I don't think it is. It does have to do with how many fights you fought because you gain that experience in the ring. So it's a mix. What you're saying is right, but the fights do matter as well. It's a balance of both. No, I hate MMA, man. Nah, can't do it. MMA is like a poor man's boxing. 21. Why are you saying 20? I forgot what I even asked you. Why are you saying 21? What's more impressive to you? A trainer that makes an amateur to a world champion, revive a fighter career, or train proven winners like Freddie Roach has done? Uh, training proven winners is probably the easiest of those three. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's the easiest of those three. Taking an amateur to a world champ, both of those other are equal. Just the last one I feel like is probably the least impressive. Roy versus Deontay. That's nah. Deontay's way too big. Hassim, our champ from B-More. Yep, he's a champ for B-More. Boots beating Vila was really impressive. Yeah, it was. He looked good. That's when he did that slow motion. Boop! Hit him with the uppercut. Why you hate MMA? Boxing is better though. Just I don't hate it. I guess maybe I'm exaggerating, but I guess because all these MMA dudes think it's better and they say they'll beat a fighter and blah blah blah. It just I don't. It's too brutal for me, and a lot of the rolling around, like the majority of it's on the floor, and I don't like that. I think it's boxing has an art. It's like there are times where you watch it, you could call it beautiful because it's like an artist taking a paintbrush and you see art. MMA never looks like art to me. It looks like just brutal, primitive crap. That's why. Dante 210, Roy too big still. Yeah, because Roy's naturally probably 168, but let's even say he's 175, right? That's still 35 pounds, right? And 7, 8 inches taller. So that's why. And the reach is, I mean, come on. I don't even know how many inches the reach is, but it's something crazy. I only like watching a couple MMA fighters. Yeah. I feel you. We call it sweet science for a good reason. Yeah. Yeah. Like some people think what Shakur did his last fight, or what he does sometimes is beautiful, sweet science of boxing. While I agree it is, that doesn't mean you have to be entertained by it. That doesn't mean you have to favor that kind of style, because I don't. I don't take away um I don't take away the skill behind it and how and but it doesn't mean I have to like it. Taking out trainers you had a personal relationship with, who's the best trainer in your lifetime that's no longer with us? Manuel Stewart. Manuel Stewart, Eddie Futch was dope. Um, Angelo Dundee, Cuss. And I never met Cuss, so I didn't have a personal relationship with him, technically. Cuss was passed by the time I went up to Catskill. He had been passed for 5 years or something. No, more longer. 6 or 7 years he had been passed by the time I went up with and I started being trained by Kevin Rooney. Does Chris Eubank Sr. give Roy No. 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 Roy, did you guys ever watch? Have you watched Roy recently? You saw he did to James Toney, who's one of the greatest ever. I mean, made it effortless. And James Toney was hard to hit. Eubank wasn't. Eddie Futch, yeah, Eddie Futch was really good. Yeah, Eddie Futch was dope. We're gonna do the trivia in about 15, 10, 15. So I don't see gas in here, so we might have a new champion regardless. I hate MMA now. I did MMA 5 years. It's horrible, especially on your body. Yeah. The weird thing is it's worse on your body overall, but it's not worse on your body long term because you're way likely to get brain injuries, neurological damage from MMA. That's the only thing I'll say is better about it. Because the second you get rocked in MMA, they stop it. Whereas in boxing, you can get rocked numerous times. You have to get you can get pounded until you're rocked and then concussed and down and up again and constantly until it's stopped. Whereas MMA, first time they stop it. And you're not just aiming at the head, you're aiming at all not just the head or the body in MMA, it's arms, legs, all kinds of stuff, chokeholds. Nah, he pissed me off when he beat Tony. I was at that fight, by the way, live in Vegas. I was 17 years old. I was at that fight live. Dope. That was the old school version of Spence vs. Crawford. That's how much people were looking forward to that fight. It was the same thing, except it didn't take 5 years to build because there was no A-side diva negotiating tactics back then. So they fought pretty much soon as both of them were. But it was both undefeated guys, both knockout punchers, and it was split down the middle and who people thought were going to win. And we saw what happened. MMA has its moments. Watch Silva's reign. A lot of boxers now dominate UFC, in my opinion. But something about just hands and hands is beautiful to see. Yep, agreed. Do you know Vidal Riley? I do not. Who is that? Bro, kickboxers go to MMA, colonize it all the time. The boxer always beats on kick. Yeah, when I was fighting, there was no MMA yet. Kickboxing was the big thing in the 90s. So I sparred a few kickboxers and I used to kick the crap out of them because they didn't have good hands because they can't develop all the mechanics of throwing hands when you the way you stand and your mentality is set up for kicking. Now, right off the jump, your hands are placed differently, your balance is different, your the way you your movements, your footwork is different, so they couldn't really box. Deontay is elite, especially via setting up the Alabama Slammer. Not all boxers with power have an elite way of setting up punishing blow. Yeah, yeah. He's also so explosive, Deontay. He's very the speed at which he throws his punches and the distance he covers because he's so long. Pause. He could, you could think you're in a safe distance, and he just explodes at you, and because of his reach and his length, he gets to you like that, and you go down. If I wanted to convert a non-boxing fan, what's one fight you would show them? Depends. Castillo Corrales is the greatest fight I've ever seen. One. That one, or any Mike Tyson fights, because he's such a spectacle to watch. Early Tyson, or Corrales Castillo one, or Hearns Hagler. Those would be good. Right, just give an elite boxer now time to train, kick, takedowns, defense. Cody was beating fools. All he had was a boxing background. Yeah. Cody Garbrandt. Never heard of him. To convert a non-boxing fan, I'm going with Ward Gotti. That's not bad either. I was never a huge fan of those series for my own personal reasons, but yeah, I think that's a good suggestion too. Vidal Riley, English champion. All right. Mike Tyson, the last boxing icon living. Yeah, I would say so. Well, no. You could say Floyd Mayweather's a boxing icon. You could even say Oscar's one, right? I would go with Fury Klitschko. No, that was not very. I would love watching Fury Klitschko finally lose, but that wasn't the most entertaining fight. Who are some fighters you feel were never in a boring fight? Tyson, Deontay, Terry Norris, Julian Jackson, Roy, um, Hagler. I had to get back surgery, lumbar fusion. Ooh, I get sciatic all the time, but my shit doesn't need to be fused. That's wild. That sucks. I should have stayed boxing. I would have been good now. Yeah, probably doesn't put that much strain on your back. Couldn't even finish the highlights of that fight. Which fight? Ben Whitaker is like Prince Nassim. Don't jump the gun though. He's close. He has similarities, but nobody's Prince. Ben Whitaker doesn't have the power Prince had. That I'm telling you, regardless of all the antics Prince did, the power was the number one reason why all that fell together. The power was the main piece of that puzzle. Without the power, the rest of those pieces wouldn't fit into the puzzle. The power was the puzzle with him. And Ben doesn't have that kind of power. He hits hard, but not like Prince. That's Prince is 1 in a million power. I wouldn't say Floyd an icon. You can't go anywhere and expect people to know Floyd. I kind of disagree, man. I think most people know who Floyd is. Not at the level of Mike Tyson, agreed, but I think they know who he is. But we should poll that and see. Bad performance doesn't mean a boxer is done or that the opposition is exceptionally elite. Fury won versus Francis. Francis got destroyed by AJ. Well, that's called the triangle theory, where just because Francis, technically some people think he beat Fury, and well, that doesn't really work that way because Joshua didn't beat Fury, but basically, Frazier beat Ali, easily, and then Frazier beat Ali. So then you would think that when Frazier fought, and then Foreman beat Frazier, so then you'd think that since Foreman beat Frazier and Frazier was better than Ali, that when Foreman and Ali fought, Foreman would kill Ali because Foreman killed the guy who beat Ali so easily, Frazier. But instead, it flipped. They call that the triangle theory. Doesn't always work out that way. Usually, it's a good indicator, but a lot of times it's not. Speaking of MMA, speaking of Ngannou, should he stay away from boxing strictly? Nah, he can box. Just build himself up a little. Don't while out. Starting off fighting the best fighters in the heavyweight division, possibly of this era. Don't do that. Get in there like a Jared Anderson or somebody coming up, maybe, or even lower, and work your way up. Have like 10 fights. I was a heavy UFC child in the 10s. It came back to boxing. After Floyd era, that is. Floyd turned a ton of people away from the sport. He's a legend. Glad he is gone from the sport. Floyd, so you think Floyd turned people away? I disagree. Is that what you're saying? I think Floyd brought a lot of eyeballs on the sport. That's why he made so much money. You don't make money unless you have people, unless there's interest garnered to watch you fight, to buy your tickets, to buy your merchandise. I think Floyd brought a lot of people to boxing. Do you think Fury on Ali and makes? Do you think Fury is on Ali and makes his level? Wait, do you think Fury and Ali and Mike's? I don't know what you're saying there. Francis going to lose when he goes back to MMA. His chin is gone. Possible. Ngannou versus Wilder would be good. Yeah, that would be good. That'd be real good. I think if he's an amateur, right? Ngannou, he's a green, bare bones beginner, and the easiest punch to land on a beginner is a straight right hand, and if Joshua was able to land it that easily, then Wilder's going to be able to land it just as easily, and Wilder hits harder. So no, as long as Wilder throws it. Last fight we saw him, he wasn't really put his foot on the gas. If Wilder comes out how Wilder's come out in every single fight besides Ngannou, or besides Parker fight, no, he shouldn't fight Wilder. Work your way up. Wilder's arguably still the third best heavyweight in the world. So no, go out of the top 10 for Ngannou. PBC Room Boxing. Yeah, I don't follow that stuff, unfortunately. Not unfortunately, I just don't choose to. That's the business, and I don't care about the business. I just watch the fights. And I know the business affects the fights, but I'm here to analyze and enjoy and watch and talk about the fights. And certain things outside, like certain things about fighters' lives and all that, yeah, if it's but overall, I don't get into the boxing, into the business, and I don't know much about it. It's Big Baby Anderson, the next great American heavyweight. I thought so at first, but I'm not so sure now. I have to wait and see more. He's still too green. He's looked pretty good. Last fight, I think he didn't look as good, but is there anyone you have your eye on? No. Styles make fights, not resumes. Many believe AJ had a better resume over Bud, but Bud beat Errol. Resumes provide experience and diversity, but elite boxer is necessary. Yeah, agreed. Well said, Skills. Well said. Wilder is not the third best. Well, let's see. Fury, Usyk, Joshua, Wilder. I mean, you could argue Parker, but I'm giving Wilder a pass on that last fight because he looks so different and so bad. I'm giving him a pass. If he does it again, then I drop him. Who do you think's better than? Who do you think better? Parker, Zhang? No. Who's better than Wilder? Besides those top three, who am I missing? Do you think Tyson Fury is on Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson's level? Oh, no. Well, Tyson's level, yeah. Because Tyson, as a whole, Tyson's career wasn't that impressive. He's overrated in terms of his career, in terms of his achievements, not his impact, his popularity, and his power and speed and excitement. That's not it. But his achievements in boxing is overrated. So Fury is not. I won't be able to answer that until he retires. But I don't think Tyson's on Muhammad Ali's level. So, different. Wilder is trash. I wouldn't say he's trash. You don't knock out 43 people out of 42 fights uh, and be trash, you know? And he's in his late 30s now, so he could have just been out. He could just be out of his prime. His prime was one of the greatest careers anybody's ever had, just, numbers wise, and arguably, and not much of an argument, by the way, the hardest puncher who ever lived. So I wouldn't say that's trash. Errol Spence never the same fighter after the car crash. Yeah. Big Baby Anderson going to be the next Ibeabuchi. In a bad way, you mean? Mike has better legacy than Fury by a mile. Well, Fury is still fighting. But yes. But no. Actually, it depends. Fury never lost. Mike lost many times. Mike never beat any of his major mega fights after Buster Douglas. The only mega fight Mike won, arguably, mega fight, was against Spinks. And if you want to call Holmes, Larry was old then, Larry Holmes, that's it. But Fury won his mega fights with Wilder, and he just needs to beat Usyk and AJ or whatever. But Fury's still active. So I wouldn't say that. But Tyson's overrated. And you guys know I'm from New York, man. I used to love Tyson. So when I'm saying that, I'm not being biased. I'm being unbiased because I wish I could say Tyson was the best. I hate when a fighter loses a fight. It doesn't make him a great fighter automatically. I hate when look at how many fighters lose before and still become legendary. Yeah, exactly. Youngest undisputed champion overrated. Being the youngest champion is just happenstance. He just peaked earlier. That doesn't make you the best ever because you're the youngest. Just like Foreman's the oldest, that doesn't make him the best. It's about if Tyson would have kept going from that youth and showed throughout his whole career. Tyson peaked at 23 years old. Then when he lost to Douglas, he was done. Like in terms of being a great. He was the most exciting guy to watch, most controversial, but he would lose. He lost to everybody. The only 2 wins he had that were arguably against high-level opposition after Buster Douglas was Razor Ruddock, who gave him a hard fight, by the way, and Andrew Golota. That's it. Those are the only top-level fighters he fought that he beat after the year of 1990. 43 cab drivers. Nah, man. King Kong Ortiz is not a cab driver. Stavern's not a cab driver. And it doesn't matter, by the way. By the way, I don't care who you are. Take this from a fighter. It's easy for non-fighters to because when you go in there and you knock somebody out 43 times, you knock out everybody you faced. That is the hardest thing in the world to do. I don't care if they were literally all cab drivers. That's still hard to do. I bet you nobody in the chat, including myself, and none of these other boxers could knock out 43 people straight. 43 boxers, even if they're not the highest level. And you know why I know that? Because you look at records, people just don't do that often. Very impressive. You got to give him props. I didn't like Wilder. I didn't like what he said after he lost, all the excuses. I didn't like how he handles himself. I'm not I'm saying I have my issues with him in terms of outside the ring. And even in the ring, he was limited in a lot of ways, whatever, but you still can't take away what he did. And he's arguably the hardest puncher who ever lived. Alexi, that's what I said. I'm glad Floyd came in sport because he made 2. Okay. How many mega fights has Fury won besides Klitschko? Yeah, 2. He's still active, though. We got to wait and see. But those are big ones. Klitschko was undefeated for 9 years straight or whatever it was. Klitschko might have passed Larry Holmes as undefeated or a record of holding the heavyweight belt. But yeah, I'm not saying Fury's there yet. I'm just talking about Tyson. Fury he has more to prove. For me, if Fury beats AJ and beats Usyk, now we're talking. That's what he needs to. You need to clear out. You have no control over who's in your division, right? Tyson and Ali, they happen to have legends fight at the same generation as they did at the same time, and you don't control that. That just happens. Roy Jones didn't have too many legends. I mean, he had Tony and Hopkins, but that's it. But he couldn't control that. So you have to look at what you do with who's there, who's in your division during your era. That's what you have to look at because you have no other choice. And if you happen to be lucky enough to have legends in the same time, that even shows you more. I would say the same about Canelo, but he is so active. I got to give him props for that. Prime Mike versus Prime Larry Holmes. Who wins? Mike. 88 Mike? I mean, Prime Mike did fight Larry Holmes, not Prime Mike didn't fight Prime Larry Holmes, but Larry didn't hit hard enough to stop Mike from coming. And Mike was so fast. Now, very few fighters do I think have a chance of beating Prime Mike. Larry ain't one of them. Fury was never undisputed. In the late 80s was a better era. Okay. There's another thing which I don't agree with. Being undisputed or being youngest champion, those don't make a great fighter. Being undisputed means you're just able to beat a few champions. Now, champions a lot of times are great, and that means something. But it's not about the belt to me. It's about who had the belt. We all know that there's tons of champions out there that if you beat them, Rolly, for example, you beat them, it doesn't matter. They shouldn't have been champion. They got either lucky or they were given a vacant belt or whatever. So being undisputed doesn't automatically make an all-time great fighter. It can if you look at but that's what I'm trying to say. Neither does having a record like the youngest or the oldest, or that doesn't automatically make a great fighter. You have to look at why and the situation. The age never makes a great fighter to me. That doesn't matter. That's cool, but that doesn't make you the greatest because you won something young. A lot of people won young and then started, like Tyson's an example. And then he started not doing that well when he got older. But the belts, though, being undisputed can matter. It just depends who the fighters fought to get the belts. Bernard Hopkins, boring. I couldn't stand him. Great fighter, one of the best ever. I couldn't stand watching him. So boring to me. And dirty. Like dirty / crafty, right along that, dancing across that borderline. I appreciate you keeping 100 about Mike. He was a bit overrated, but that 3 years or so, I believe he beats. Yeah, that's what I just said. 4 years he peaked, and absolutely, I think he could beat almost any heavyweight. You guys can name a couple, and I'll tell you what I think. But off the bat, he's in the hat to beat any heavyweight in history. From the 1988 version of Mike Tyson, could beat any heavyweight in history, possibly. You should do a top 10 boxing peaks. Should. Maybe I will. Maybe top 10's a long video, but maybe I should. Douglas didn't beat him. Bobby Brown in Japan beat Tyson and probably whatever, but he lost. And after that, he started not looking that good. So he was starting to decline. So you don't blame him. You blame him. You know what I'm saying? Don't say, I know what you're saying, but you could say that for a lot of fighters. 10 years. 10 years what? For the champs at 140? Haney? Tiafimo? Matias? I think. Who hit harder, Holmes or Douglas? Man. Douglas hit mad hard. But that night, when Douglas was kind of there was two Douglases, one that came in prepared that tried and one that just cruised and would quit. That Douglas, he was punching hard, man. Mad hard. And snappy. I don't know who hit harder. Holmes hit harder, I guess, overall because he consistently was able to hit. Douglas would come and go. But if you measured both of them on when they're both peak punching, I don't know. B-Hop beat Tito, Trinidad, Oscar. Yeah, those guys were blown up. Tito and Oscar should have never gone past 47. So, and Bernard Hopkins is 6'1" and was naturally 175. He just knew how to lose weight. So that to me wasn't very impressive. Other stuff he did is impressive. Beating Tarver, going up and beating all these, doing that stuff they did at light heavy, and the stuff he did at middle. That's impressive. And at 68, but not De La Hoya and Trinidad. Nanoplastic versus Trinidad was fire. Who's Nanoplastic? How is that? What's up, Jay, by the way? I don't think Tio counts as top 4 lightweights. He lost to George Kambosos, so I think Kambosos should take Tio's spot. Yeah, but then Kambosos looked bad after. And then Tio redeemed himself and beat Josh Taylor, who was the top guy. So that goes both ways. Vladimir was a champ for 10 years. 10 years straight? So that beats Holmes. I think Holmes was only 9. Can somebody Google that? I think that beats Holmes. He probably was doing stuff previous to Douglas' fight. Just yeah, they were supposed to do a rematch, but I forget what happened. I heard Buster Douglas talking about it. There's a recent interview with I think Vlad TV where he talks about why the rematch didn't happen. I remember thinking that he just wanted to fight Evander, but he would have got more money fighting Tyson. But something happened. Let's see if we see a new Rolly against Pitbull. Rolly got new coaches. Unlikely. I cried when Buster beat Mike. So did I. You were 12. I was 13. So you're my age basically, Vaughn. Me too. I cried, teared. I wasn't like like slobbering, but I teared up. Yep. I talked about this the other day because I don't know if you grew up in the hood, but I did. And I'm from New York too. Mike represented anybody from the hood and that we could get out and we could make something. And I was a fighter too on top of that. At that age, I just started boxing. So when he loses, you almost feel like a part of you and your hope is gone. So that's, I think, part of the crying. You agree, Vaughn? Project Bimmers. Cool name. Dude, you have a great boxing mind. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. Please hit the like button to show your appreciation. I appreciate that. Thank you. He beat Winky Wright, too. Who did? Who beat Winky Wright? Hopkins didn't fight Winky Wright, did he? I don't think so. From fighter's perspective, what would be a game plan against Floyd? Rough him up. Make him come to you as much as you can and also rough him up and stay close. And go to the body. The body's because when you throw, Floyd would always dip and almost turn his back to you. And what's open? Right there. That's the kidneys. I would throw a jab and then throw a hard straight or hook to his body. And you would land it every time. But people always went for the head, and his head moves so well. But his body, the old saying, body doesn't, head moves, body never moves. Who was the first undisputed middleweight champion? I don't know. Off the top of my head. I don't know. Jermaine Taylor, maybe? I'm not sure. What do you think of Street Beefs? It's cool. I've talked to the guy Scarface. I interviewed also the dude Lord Besteban. It's cool. It's positive. Against Floyd, low blows, Salido style. Nah, man. My bad. 9 years, 8 months. Okay. So Holmes was longer, right? Can you look that up, please? I didn't like when Zab lost to Zoo. That was crazy. I know, man. Right? Wild. Hopkins beat Winky, schooled him. Did he? Sorry. Wow, I didn't remember that Hopkins beat Winky. Okay, well, there you go. That's a great win. Mamoon, that's not true. There's been many undisputed middleweight champions. What did Mamoon say? Oh, he asked me? I don't know what he said. I don't get it. Why didn't anybody fight Floyd? Why didn't anybody fight Floyd shoulder roll? AB without pointing him. I don't know. Hopkins had a great career. Yeah, he did. Just bored me to death, but he did. If Klitschko reign was longer, then I shouldn't have lost my title yesterday. Oh, yeah. Is that true? That's right. That was one of the questions. Okay. Is it longer? It's funny. When I said that, for a second, I was like, Klitschko, I think, is the second longest. And I wasn't sure. But last time I checked, it was, because somebody check, how long did Holmes hold the heavyweight title? How long did Klitschko? Basically beat Floyd at his own game, yeah. But dirty. Yeah, he was dirty. Lord Besteban beat the shit out of South. I saw that. No, I wouldn't say he beat the shit out of him, but he got the better of him. Yeah, because he's more experienced. But Besteban fights a lot. He's a cool dude too. I like him. Larry was champ for 8 years, but I don't care about the fights. The question was the longest. So if he was champ for 8 years, then Klitschko did pass him. Is that somebody confirm that? Um, he wasn't trying. To me, it looked like he was trying. It looked like he was just the other guy had more experience, was just better, and then he kind of stepped back because he didn't want to look bad. But I didn't watch it much. I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. He's okay. He's very negative person. I don't really want to talk about him, but he's okay. He's not. He doesn't suck, but he's not. He's not at a pro level, but he's decent. What do you think about using heavier 16-ounce gloves on a heavy bag? Um, it depends what you were trying to get out of it. Heavier gloves, good for power, but if you want to fight, uh, I would suggest always hitting the bag with the gloves of if you're an amateur or pro, whatever ounce that is, which is 14, I think, or 12 is amateur, and pros would be 8 or 10, depending on how much you weigh. I even am a fan of, and this never happens, but I think you should spar in lighter gloves for a bunch of reasons. One, it does less brain damage because it's not as heavy. Two, it's more realistic. The only thing that bigger gloves, heavier gloves do better in sparring, the only advantage is they have more surface. So when you block, it covers more area to block. So it's better for blocking. But everything else is a negative for using heavier gloves in sparring. They hurt more, they're heavier, simple physics. Something that's heavier hurts more. Dropping on your head hurts more than something lighter. And that's not what you use when you fight. So why use that? You want to get acclimated to what the fight's going to be. What years did you fight Golden Gloves? 92 to 98. Vladimir reign was longer than Holmes. Okay. Well, then maybe you should have won, but that wasn't your last one, was it? Was it the? I don't know if that was like, look, my bad. Sometimes I mess up. You guys are here to point that out. I don't know what we could do. You can give me some suggestions what we could do in a case where I make a mistake and we find out later. Or maybe it's one of those things where like it's just like the ref is the ref and the calls can't be overturned because what can we really do now? I can't. I don't know. But my bad on that one. I was actually thinking that too yesterday. Vladimir was champ longer and more fights. Yep. 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 Personally, I used 8-ounce gloves to hit the pads and heavy bag and spar. Good. I don't know how much you weigh, but if you weigh under 140, 135, I think it is, that's what you should do. It was a tie between me. Okay, it was a tie. So Bruce isn't here tonight anyway, so don't worry about it. Don't overturn the call. Okay. I mean, I really can't because then it would be a tie. Then we'd have to go to a tiebreaker, but that would have had to happen then. There's not much I could do. Not much I could do. Guys, are you hitting that like button? I hope you are. Let's see how many likes we got. We are at 29. Nice. Nice. I weigh 140. Okay, then 8 ounces are perfect. Perfect. Yeah. Have you had any fights? How many times have you sparred? You know what? Why don't we do the championships now? All right, you guys ready for the trivia championships? You ready for the trivia championships? The mandatory challenger in the Thurman voice. You have to speak to yourself in third person. You can't say me. You have to say you better not duck Keith Thurman, or Keith Thurman will get you. All right, you guys ready? Let me see you guys ready if you're ready for the title. The champion is not here. So it's time. All right, here we go. You guys ready? Boxing championship, trivia championship, beginning. All right, here we go. Who was the first ever Hispanic heavyweight champion of the world? The first ever heavyweight champion to be of Hispanic descent. Go. We got about 10 seconds, then we stop it. First ever Hispanic heavyweight champion. Okay. Who got it first? Casanova Pugilist got it first. Everybody knew that one, though. All right. Casanova Pugilist. All right. So that was kind of an easy one. Ish. But Casanova got one. Okay. Here we go. No, you almost got it. Stop. Vaughn beat you too, though. All right. Let's go a little harder because everybody knew that one. Yeah, I'm looking at the chat. I see it right there. Last stop said ready, and then the first Casanova was the first. It said John Ruiz. John Ruiz. Okay. Okay, ready? Here's another one. Since the inception of CompuBox in 1984, since the inception of CompuBox in 1984, who was the only man to go a whole round without ever having one punch landed on him? So in the entire history of boxing since CompuBox was around in 84, who's never been hit in one round by CompuBox numbers? Go. Boom. Stop motion got that one. That was Roy. Nah, see that? I thought the other guys would get it. Hamed. Nah, chill. All right. So now we got stop motion. 1, Casanova 1. All right. That was good, though. All right, here we go. Next one. Easy work. All right. Here we go. All right, ready? What undefeated boxer has had the most, what undefeated world champion who was undefeated, has had the most wins? So what undefeated fighter had the most wins in their career? Go. Undefeated, most wins. Yeah. Undefeated, most wins. Undefeated, most wins. Undefeated, most wins. Undefeated, most wins. All right. 5 more seconds. 5, 4, 3. Okay. Now, done. So you got it right, stop motion, but you said Chavez first, so I'm not going to give that to you. I hope you didn't Google that. See, that's why I was surprised you guys were saying Chavez because he was not undefeated. Neither was uh, Canelo. Neither was Roy. Uh, it was Lopez, but you said something first, so I cannot give it to you when you say something after. Finito Lopez, exactly. So no one gets that one. Yeah, maybe you didn't look it up, but you still said something first, so you can't say two things. First one, only one. Yes, but it was Ricardo Lopez, 51-0, but he had one draw. For those of you who don't know, one draw. So that's why his record doesn't. I said undefeated, which nobody ever beat him. Somebody did draw with him, but nobody beat him. So that's why they always say Floyd's 50-0 because Floyd never got a draw, and that's looked at as not as a blemish, but still not a loss. All right. Okay, ready? Oh wait, I already did this one. Okay, here we go. Who is the only man in? No, you know what? I'm not gonna do that one. Sorry, hold on. Okay, here we go. Ready? Heavyweight champion Jack Johnson. What was heavyweight champion Jack Johnson's first name, birth name on his birth certificate? What name was he given at birth? His first name. Go. Jack Johnson's first name, real first name. Jack Johnson's real first name. Jack Johnson's real first name. I don't know is not a name. Damn, nobody's even answering that one. No, not George. All right, so Mamoon, you got it, but I feel like you might have looked that one up. That one took a little too long. Was that 10 seconds? I feel like that one took a little too long. So it was past 10 seconds, so I can't give it to you. All right. Yeah, see, this is coming in tight here. 1-1. Clarence. All right. Here we go. Ready? I don't think you see these are getting tough. All right, I'm gonna go a little easier. All right, ready? Here we go. Heavyweight champion, 1920s heavyweight champion Jack Johnson. What was his nickname? What was Jack Johnson's nickname? Go. Not Jack Johnson. Excuse me. Sorry. Stop that. Pause it. Stop it. Oof. 1920s heavyweight Jack Dempsey. What was Jack Dempsey's nickname? What was heavyweight champion Jack Dempsey's fighting nickname? Go. Jack Dempsey's nickname. Jack Dempsey's nickname. 5 more seconds. Boom. Stop motion got it. Manasseh Mauler. Brown Bomber was not Jack Dempsey. The Brown Bomber was Joe Louis. Sundance Kid. No. All right. All right. He could take it. Stop and get the title back. Here's the last one. What boxer has won the most? What boxer has won the most? Who has titles in the most divisions in all of boxing history? What fighter has won titles in the most amount of divisions, the most weight classes? Go. Most weight classes. Who has won the most titles in the most different amount of weight classes? Oh, Casanova beat you to it. Casanova. Wow, this is 2-2. We're tied. 2-2. Casanova beat you to it. Just beat you to it. Damn, he just beat you. All right. Now this is getting down to the wire. You want a hard question? Okay. You want a hard question? But I don't want it where nobody's going to get it. All right, here we go. This one's going to be harder. Here we go. This is a quote. What fighter has the famous quote, "You can run, but you can't hide"? What fighter quoted, "You can run, but you can't hide"? Go. You can run, but you can't hide. You don't know? Couple seconds. All right, done. Come on, guys. That was Joe Louis. Brown Bomber. Joe Louis. Okay, well, we got to go one more. One more. Okay, this one's hard. You ready? Who is the only man? Now, this isn't Roy Jones and Bob Fitzsimmons because they won titles from middleweight straight through. Who's the only man to be only light heavyweight and heavyweight champion? Which is the only man in history to win the light heavyweight and the heavyweight belts only? Go. Not all the others, just light heavyweight and heavyweight. Who's the only man to do that? That's a hard question, I think. Boom. He got it. Stop motion took it. Stop motion took it. We knew he was going to take it. Kind of. I kind of knew he was going to take it. Stop motion took it. Now, Rocky Marciano never fought at light heavyweight. Julian Jackson never fought at light heavy or heavy. Stop motion took it. Michael Spinks is the correct answer. The belt, the vacated belt, has now returned to stop motion. It is returned to stop motion. He has that belt. He could put it around his waist. He could hang it on his shoulder, however he wants to do it. My man, stop motion. Two-time champion. I'll tell you one thing, guys. I had another robbery. I had a lot of questions, and now because some of you don't get them, or like maybe I'll say one and it's wrong, I got to come up with more. Shut your mouth, Burns. That's funny. Guys, please hit the likes. I'm hoping you all already did that. There's more likes. Let's see how many we got. 31. I think that's where I was at. Yeah, we had a few less people in here tonight, I think, because it's a Friday. But anyway, dope. Good job, Stop. Good job. Once this podcast gets big enough, right, and I start making some good money, there'll be some kind of prizes for the trivia champion. Something. We'll do something. But I got to get there first. Yeah, he did outbox everybody. That was good, man. That was good. I got to come up with some more. I'm going to come up with harder questions, but they also can't be too hard. Like, you can get real specific and nobody will really know a lot of it. It's tough. But Marco robbed me. You didn't even get one, Mamoon. You didn't even get one. When did I rob you? It was Stop and Casanova. They got all of them. I have a rematch clause. I'll activate it. Anyway, guys, as usual, dope time, and we will do the same thing tomorrow night. Even Saturday, I don't know how many of you guys will be around. I'm going to be around tomorrow, so we'll do it tomorrow. All right? Good stuff, everybody. Peace.